But you didn't walk out of my luncheon when Robert asked you to.
Well, that luncheon was to support Cora in her grief. Did not seem appropriate to let the whole thing end in chaos and a quarrel.
So you don't think I should have given Ethel a second chance?
I do not criticise your motives, but did you really consider? Ethel is notorious in the village.
I don't think so.
I know so. You've surrounded this house with a miasma of scandal and touched all of us by association.
I think one must fight for one's beliefs.
And is poor Ethel to be the cudgel by which you fight your foes?
Ah, Ethel. I was just telling Lady Grantham how your cooking has come on.
I'm studying, my lady. These days a working woman must have a skill.
But you seem to have so many. Why would I persuade your father otherwise when I agree with him?
How can you say that when you keep telling me to find something to do?
I meant run a local charity or paint watercolours or something.
Well, I'm going to London to see the editor tomorrow. And if I like him, then I'm going to say yes. I don't want to fall out with Papa, but I don't want to be invisible either. I've had enough of it.
Very well, I'm coming up tonight. I'll see what I can do. But I want a favour in return.
Ethel? What's the matter?
I had rather a nasty encounter in the village, that's all.
What sort of encounter?
Mrs. Bakewell refused to serve me. In the end, her husband did, but it wasn't very nice.
We shall take our business elsewhere.
There's no need for that, Ma'am. I'm used to it.
You shouldn't have to be. I don't understand. You've placed an advertisement in a magazine to find a job for my housekeeper.
I knew you'd be against it.
Well, how would you feel if I found other work for your cook or butler?
Granny feels that for Ethel's sake she should move elsewhere.
Oh, nonsense. She couldn't give tuppence about Ethel or anyone like her.
You've been reading those communist newspapers again. Mrs. Hughes, you've always taken an interest in Ethel. Do you think I'm wrong?
No. While Ethel is in this village, she is doomed to be lonely. But if, as her ladyship suggests, she can get a job far away from here...
She's not a bad cook now. And with a respectable reference, which of course you can give her.
I can't get over how you've planned all this without a word to me.
Well, I knew you wouldn't agree. I know how you hate facing facts.
I resent that. I'm sorry, but I do.
Mrs. Crawley, I hope you don't see me as an intolerant person.
No?
Because I agree with her ladyship. In a new place where she can start again, Ethel has far more chance of happiness than in reenacting her own version of the Scarlet Letter in Downton.
What is the Scarlet Letter?
A novel by Nathaniel Hawthorne.
Well, it sounds most unsuitable.
I'll talk to Ethel.
Beg pardon, Ma'am, I was miles away.
That's all right. I just wanted to let you know that I was back.
Would you like some tea?
No, thank you. I'm going straight to bed. Ethel, are you happy?
Well, I suppose I'm happy compared to what I was before.
You see, Never mind. How is Lady Flintshire?
Well, incredibly busy. Daddy works harder than a slave, and so she has to manage everything else by herself.
I doubt he works harder than a slave.
Cousin Isobel is very literal. Now, I have something for you.
Shall I pour, ma'am?
No, thank you, I'll do it.
These are the first answers to the advertisement.
Cousin Violet is trying to find a new job for my cook.
That sounds rather inconvenient.
Cousin Violet has never let a matter of convenience stand in the way of a principle.
As the kettle said to the pot.
Lady Grantham, the Dowager that is, has been concerned that your history here has left you lonely.
She's kind to concern herself.
It's not just that. She believes that you've made this house a local topic of unwelcome conversation.
Ah.
So she's placed an advertisement for you, and she's got some replies. The point is, you would go to your new position with references from me and from Mrs. Hughes, and you would not have to refer to your earlier life. In effect, you'd be washed clean.
I've been through those replies to Her Ladyship's advertisement, and I don't think there's one where I should be happier than here.
That's very flattering.
There was a nice letter from a Mrs. Watson, but it was near Cheadle. Cheadle's very close to where Mr. and Mrs. Bryant live.
Oh, I see. And you feel that would defeat the purpose, if the goal is to leave your past behind you?
Don't you, ma'am?
Yes, I'm afraid I do. It's a pity if it was the only one that was appealing.
So it looks as if I'll be staying on. I'm sorry if it makes trouble between you and the Dowager.
Oh, don't worry about that. If you'd gone, she'd have found some other bone for us to fight over.
Tell me, has there been any progress with Ethel?
No. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but she doesn't want to go.
Not one of them was right?
One, a Mrs. Watson. But the house was near where the Bryants live. And to be honest, I suspect that was the reason. A chance to see little Charlie from time to time.
Well, I can't blame her for that.
Of course not, but the Bryants would be bound to find out, which would only lead to more heartbreak.
Will that be all, ma'am?
There is one thing. There was a letter delivered by hand this afternoon. It's from the Dowager. She wants us to call on her in the morning.
But why would you want me?
No doubt we'll find out in the morning.
Oh, you didn't expect to find me here.
No.
I thought the only person who could tell us with any accuracy the Bryants' response to Ethel's working nearby were the Bryants themselves.
Lady Grantham wrote to me explaining your wish.
Well, it was only that Mrs. Watson had answered the advertisement.
I know the circumstances, just as I know that you would like to see how Charlie's getting on. As it happens, I've been uncomfortable about keeping a mother from her son. And although I would not want to confuse him until he's much older, if then...
We wouldn't have to confuse him. I've already worked it out. I'm his old nanny who was employed by you when he was first born.
But what about when he talks about you to Mr. Bryant?
You will please leave Mr. Bryant to me. Now, Ethel, you must write to Mrs. Watson today and get it settled.
And I'll be able to see Charlie.
It won't be easy.
It'll be easier than not seeing him. Very much easier.
I'm glad everything's settled with Ethel, but I trust you can find another cook without too much difficulty.
Preferably one with a blameless record, so my house ceases to be a topic of gossip, which is really what this is all about.
If Ethel wants to be part of her son's life, even a little part, who are we to stand in her way?
Of course, if you had had to sell Charlie to the butcher to be chopped up as stew to achieve the same ends, you would have done so.
Well, happily, it was not needed.